More on this story. Joining us live from New York is John Burnett. He is the first vice chairman of the New York State Republican Party. It's an absolute pleasure having you on the program. Now, this debate is one that's going to be watched wide and far beyond the United States. And this will be one of the few chances, if not the only chance, for the candidates to really show Americans where they stand in the presence of their opponent.
Absolutely. The thing is that the rules, I think, balances things out. Kamala Harris's campaign states that the rules, specifically the muted mics, doesn't work in her favor, but we do know that it worked very well in President Trump's favor during his debate with Biden. But I think going into this debate, Kamala Harris is going to try to position herself to voters that she is a moderate, despite her radical left agenda in the past that she ran on during the 2020 presidential election, but then dropped out before the first primary because she couldn't get any higher than 3 or 5% in the poll numbers, and her fundraising was dismal. But President Trump, he has a record to run on, so he's going to actually try to use that to bring people's current pain and misery under the Biden-Harris economic agenda, bring their memory back to when he was president, touting $2 gas, touting cheaper groceries, things of that nature, and overall public safety, but also try to lay out his vision for the future. But will he be disciplined enough to stay focused to actually make those points, or will Kamala Harris actually her statement and attacks and possibly questions from the moderator about January 6th or the lawfare strategy that the Democrats have invoked upon President Trump, will that be effective to throw him off his game? So there's going to be a lot at stake here. Whoever remains focused on their strategy could come out the winner.
Indeed. Let's talk a bit more about strategy. I mean, Kamala Harris has only been campaigning since July. What do Americans expect to see from her, and what kind of a strategy do you think that Trump will use in this debate?
Well, I think people expect her to finally state where she stands on key policies. We know, as you pointed out, since July, she has flip-flopped on her own policies, many of which she actually stated during the rallies and in other meetings and so forth, but yet she actually had to backtrack. Secondly, we know that she stole or copied many of President Trump's policies that worked, like no tax on tips, securing the border, and otherwise. So people really want to know where she stands. And tonight she'll have that opportunity. Now, with regard to President Trump, he's going to actually point out those nuances where she stood during the Biden-Harris presidency and reign, and now why she's pivoting now, but yet while making the case, well, wait a second, you're currently in power. Many of the things that you want or say you want to do when if you become president, you can start doing right now. So that's the points that he will make.
Well, there's a very important group of undecided voters. How much of a difference do you think this is going to make in terms of swaying votes towards their side?
Well, it's going to make a huge difference. Look, Democrats and Republicans, for the most part, they already know which candidate they will cast a ballot for. It's the independents. Some of them are breaking toward Kamala Harris. Many are breaking toward President Trump, but approximately 1/3 of them are still undecided. So it's going to take a deeper dive, looking at each candidate, looking at each vision going forward for America, and possibly coming out of this debate. So there's a lot riding on this debate for those undecided voters, especially in the 6 or 7 key swing states that really has this race virtually at a tie.
All right, John Burnett, thank you so much for being with us here on the NewsHour. It was an absolute pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you.